Hi guys, this is Patricia from Urina Cat Crochet. This is, I believe, episode 15. I'll have to check what's in my cup, what's on my hook, what's on my mind. It's not going to be as long, I don't think. Um, we'll get to that in a second. So what's in my cup? My cute little Lil Bub mug um, is, what did I put in there? It's one I've already reviewed. I believe it's Outlaw by August Uncommon. It's the one that tastes a little bit like smoky banana. And it's been steeping long enough to get its full flavor. As a matter of fact, it cooled down a little bit already, but it's still warm enough to be good. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Watch some of my other vids, you'll get to know me a little bit better. But this is where I usually review tea, but I've been through all the teas that I have. So, but I'll still tell you what I'm drinking, and I'll get more tea. I still have the tea that my mom gave me. I tried all the flavors in that one. So I'll be drinking them up, but I don't have any new ones right now to show you. But I really like that one. So Harley girl, stop that. So so that was what was in my cup. What's on my hook? So that's really, and it's also what's on my mind. So it's literally still on my hook because I haven't pulled it through yet. Now it's off. Was my square. Now I still have to weave in the ends. It could go any direction, but I think I like this direction the best. But I also kind of like this direction because it looks like the black is dripping down. But for the purpose of this blanket, the black is the metal in the stained glass that would make the pattern, and then the colors are the colored glass in yarn form. But so when I did it a granny square, it didn't look right. There was too much black in certain areas. And if you're going to do a whole blanket, it would be okay if you were just doing a giant granny square blanket. It would be fine for that, or any outfit or anything that you were going to make. But for the purpose of stained glass, to me, it didn't look like that. So, and stained glass can be anything. You could put geometric shapes, you could make a person or whatever if you were actually doing actual stained glass. So the pattern itself don't mean as much, but when it was so much black in one spot, it just didn't even come close to looking like stained glass. So I think this does it for me, I think. And I don't know what direction they're going to go in, probably this way. But it also could go this way, either way. But I kind of like that as far as the dripping down look. But we'll see if the other squares turn out like that. You know, I'm going to do a tutorial, but I can explain it to you what I did right now. So I chained 20 plus 2 more to get the height on the first row. So I chained 20, I double crocheted into every chain, or I chained 20 and then plus 2 more. And then I went into the third chain, which gave me that first 2 chains for the height. And then I chained into each one 20 times. Now, on that first row, which I couldn't tell you what end it was at this point. I think that was the end, so it must have been this pink and black where I started. It had, if you count the chained stitch, it had 21 basically. But I only did that first 2 chains to get it up to the height, because I hate when you do it and it kind of pulls the yarn down, if you know what I mean. Even if you just chain 1, you have that curved edge and I hate it. So I just chained up 2 and I just pretended like that wasn't even a stitch. And then every other row it's just 20 stitches double crocheted. And to be honest with you, I didn't really see much of a width difference. If I hadn't told you, you probably wouldn't even know. So you can do that however you want. You can leave off the 2 extras if that's what you want to do. It's your blanket. But I did that. But basically, it's 20 stitches wide, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait a minute. Oh, I counted the black. I'm sorry. That was the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So it's 10 high, 20 stitches wide, and 10 rows high. It ends up measuring, without the border, by the way, it ends up measuring 6.5 by almost 6.5. It was really hard to get that to exactly 6.5. And that's also going to change with the yarn you're using, the needle you're using, and your tension. However you hold and do it, it's going to change the measurements. So really, you just want as close to a square as you can get. And I mean, if you want to, you can make really big ones, like 4 or 6 big ones, and then sew all those together. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But if you want to follow, Harley, if you want to follow how that I'm doing it, then it's 6.5 by 6.5, and all the dimensions that I've already mentioned. And I'll go over that again in the very first video that I do for the blanket. But I used Red Heart Super Saver Stripes, and I believe this one was called Neon Stripes. Wait a minute, I think I have it in my bag. I don't want to mislead you. Let's see. Yes, Neon Stripes, if you can see that. And it's a 4-weight, and it's 5 ounces. I don't know how much of it it's going to take because I haven't made the whole blanket yet. It's going to be as I go along. So, but I do have 6 of these. You don't have to buy 6 if you want to wait till I've fully made the blanket and then buy the yarn, because you have, I said on this one we were going to do it for 6 months. If it takes longer than that, it's fine. It's not one that we are doing for a prize, so you can go at your own speed, but I will be doing it for 6 months, or I'll give myself 6 months anyway. If you get done sooner and you want to make another one, or you just want to keep joining in for the videos and stuff, by all means. But so yeah, Red Heart Super Saver yarn. And for the edge, I have the Lion Brand, hold on, Schitt's Creek, please excuse me, but that's what it's called, in the color of Black Crow. And if you watch the Schitt's Creek on Netflix, you'll know why they call it Black Crow. But anyway, that's the edge, and it's comparable. It's slightly a bit softer than the Red Heart, but not much. It's pretty comparable in softness. This Neon Stripes was softer than some of the other colors, and they're perfectly soft for your skin. They're not rough, so I know some of them can be rough, but this isn't one of them. So that means it's going to be even softer after you wash it for the first time. But anyway, yeah, comfy. So, oh, to tell you about this, it's a 4 weight, and it's 7 ounces, 200 grams, 372 yards, 340 meters. And it that might change with whatever yarn you pick. Some of y'all can't get this yarn where you're from. You just get a comparable yarn. Or if you want the same effect, just get these colors and the black and make your own stained glass square in whatever pattern you want to do. If you can find a Grafgan granny square thing, like the one with the hearts or whatever, and then you want to do black around that, and just use your imagination. But this is what I'm using because I have an imagination, but it's not great. So excuse me, I made something with hot peppers in it, and the oils got into the air and I breathed it in, so I'm not sick. I just maced myself. But anyway, so yeah, I cheated and used one that already does a pattern for you. But anyway, and that's, that's how it turned out. Oh, there's string. Okay. So, yeah, so, and then I still don't know how many squares I'm going to need. So I'm going to lay this down and measure it, flip it and flip it till I get to a size that I think is good for a lap blanket. But I'll let you know when I get that, when I get to that step. We got, well, the rest of this month before it even starts. So I might have the width before we start. But anyway, I'm also going to do a granny square version just to show you how it looked. And you'll agree with me. It doesn't do good with the granny square stitch. But I really, really like this. I like it a lot. Whew. And that's pretty much what's on my hook and what's on my mind. I told you it was going to be a short video. But I wrote it down in my Angie journal from My Fairy Treasures. And it's not really journaling. I'm pretty sure I would not be good at that, but I did write it down. I mean, that's a step for me. So I got that I chained 20 plus 2. I double crocheted 10 rows and tied off and weaved in the ends, which I did not do, but that's the steps that what I would do. And the border is half double crochet. The reason why I chose half double is because of you're going to have another half double plus that little bit in between those two, so it's going to be a thicker border once they're all sewed together. So that's why I chose half double crochet. Plus half double crochet is sturdier, not as loose, and I needed that too for it to be a sturdy and viable blanket. But anyway, and I crocheted 20 stitches on the on the row side. There's the side that's not when you go into the side that doesn't really have defined stitches because it's a half double crochet. The one where it's just in the regular part of the row, you did 20 stitches across. Well, then you have to divide that on the sides to make sure you get 20 stitches so that it'll be square. In each row, you can get about 2 stitches. Well, you could get more, but then it would start to wave. But I find that you can get about 2 stitches in each one, so I just did 2 stitches in each row. And it ended up being 20 stitches. And on the edge, which you cannot see because this is black, I chained 2 to make the corner. So I did my 20 stitches, chain 2, did my 20 stitches, chain 2, did my 20 stitches, chain 2, blah, 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 blah. So that's my square. So those of y'all that know me know that I read certain things in my videos. I want to read out of the book Better Together. I want to read a quote. It's really cute. It's about animals that wouldn't normally be together. Although in these day and times, cats and dogs, nobody even blinks an eye at that anymore. But there's different animals in here together. And the photographer who is Warren Photographic, I want to make sure I give credit, took the pictures and compiled the quotes. So I'll read the introduction again. I did when I first introduced this book, but it's so good I'll just read it again. It says, close friends are people we can be our true selves with, more than just social media connections. They're companions we can lean on when times are hard and laugh with when everything is going well. Sometimes friends look like us and act like us, and we see life through the same spectacles. Yes, there's a certain measure of comfort that goes with that. It's safe. We're assured that we don't think and act alone. There's someone else in the world who gets me because they are a lot like me. This is not to say our differences don't play a part in the mysterious transaction that makes a friendship. Quite the contrary. Sometimes it's our differences that intermingle to create something so uniquely original that the product that remains is truly one of a kind, unable to be replicated. I learned to love you for the person you are that I am. Wait a minute, let me read. It's so good. I want to read it well. I learned to love you for the person you are that I am not. And you reply in kind. And this is the wonderful paradox of friendship. Our similarities might bring us together, but our differences are the secret ingredient that forms the lifelong bond. Life would be boring if we were all exactly the same. We're really not so different, but our differences are what truly makes us better together. Isn't that awesome? That's the foreword by the author. And I am going to put, I'm going to find this on Amazon if I can. If I can't, I'll try to find it on Books A Million, and I'll put the link in the description. He should get all the credit for this. It's so good. And I got this clearanced at Books A Million, and I'm so glad that I did. Okay, so I already read that one. So we'll be on this one. This one says, what draws people to be friends is that they see the same truth, they share it. And that quote is from C.S. Lewis. And there's a really cute picture of a kitty cat and the fishes. He's watching the fishes, although I question this relationship. Because I'm pretty sure that kitty would eat those fishes, but you never know. I mean, I've seen cats with birds, and they just love on them. I've seen them with lizards, and, so I do know there's some animals that won't eat the prey because they're being fed. But anyway, it's a cute picture nonetheless, and a very neat quote. So yeah, that's by Warren Photographic. And just really, really good book. I'm so glad that I got it. I will put the link in the description if you want to get one of your own. There's lots of good ones in here. And I just really love that. So this is the part of the video where I read a scripture card. If you don't believe in the scriptures, please feel free to click out and have a really good day. And remember to be a little joy bomb in your corner of the world. And if you don't have time to spread your craft or spread your joy in some way, like making cookies for the neighbors or visiting a sick friend, although be careful on that one. Maybe Uber them some chicken soup so you don't get sick. But if you don't have the time or the money to do that, if you can't do anything else, if you're walking past someone today at the grocery store or down the sidewalk in your neighborhood, just take the time to give them your best smile, because you never know what that person's been through. They may think the whole world is against them, and you walk past them and give them your beautiful smile, and it makes a difference. It's made a difference in my life. I've had that experience, and I've heard people talk about their experiences, so I know that it works. And we will see you later. Bye-bye. For all of you who have stayed, I'm going to read a scripture card. My mom gave me this. It says, Promises from God for Women. I think they should take the women out of there, because promises from God are for everybody. And I take the card from the front and I put it in the back so that we don't repeat it, although I've messed up a couple times. But it has a nice thing on one side and then the scripture on the other. And they're in these beautiful, it's like card, like playing cards. So they're sturdy. It says, leave nothing to chance and everything to God. Plan everything, but whatever happens, leave it in God's hands. And because in the end, it's God who takes care of everything. So it says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. I'm not really sure what that means. It's Proverbs 16:3. Oh, I think I get it, but you tell me. You talk to the Lord and tell him, what your intentions are, what your plans are, and then he makes the plan that you really need. But talking to God and at any reason is a good thing. And I tend to say, good Lord willing, when I make plans with somebody, because things change. You want to go and do that thing with your friend, but then you may come down with the sickness, or your car might have broke down, or whatever. God had different plans for you that day. You were meant to be changing that tire. You just gotta roll. You make plans. I think this is totally what that says. Leave nothing to chance and everything to God. You make plans, and you do your best to carry them out, but there's just something that needed to be said or done. And maybe you were meant to be the blessing, or to let somebody bless you. Say somebody stops and helps you change that tire. They blessed you that day, and they wouldn't have got to bless you if your tire and your car hadn't broken down. You just never know in the interweaving of your life, of everybody you come across and interact with. It's just weaving together happenings and blessings, and it's just so many possibilities. You don't know. That person may have thought he was useless, and he stopped, he helped you change your tire, and he realized he makes a difference in the world, and it gave him the courage to go on. Just anything you can think of. God has infinite plans for us, and we make a lot of plans and we expect that to go, and it doesn't go wrong, and we throw our little temper tantrum in our head, hopefully. But you just don't know. I mean, there's been times when I've got delayed from leaving the house, and then I find out an hour or so later on the news that there was an accident. If I had been on the road at that point, I would have been involved in a really bad accident. And here is a perfect actual happening. Let me put this in here. Wait a minute. That was Proverbs 16:3 if you want to look it up. But there was an actual happening. My dad was a truck driver. Still technically is, doesn't really drive truck anymore. But he does occasionally help move a truck. But anyway, so he was in, I can't remember the year it was, but there was an earthquake, and he was in California. And the bridge broke. And he was at the place where they got their loads, and there was two of the drivers from the same company, and the one guy's like, man, my dad got a load to take, and he was fixing to leave out, and the guy's like, man, can I take that load? I need to get home. So dad's like, sure, take the load. And that man ended up being the semi that was hanging off the edge of that bridge that broke. And I don't know what happened to that man. I can't remember. My mom may be able to refresh my memory on that part, but if my dad had taken that load, if that man hadn't come across him, it would have been my dad hanging off that bridge, or maybe, the worst. So, we have plans, but then something happens and it changes them, and not always a better outcome, but, it's just whatever God plans for you at the moment. But for my dad, it was a better outcome. He didn't end up in that accident. So, we make plans, but God has the best ones, and we need to pay attention to that. At least I do. If I feel like something's off, and if I get a bad feeling before I leave out of this house, I stop and I think about what's going on, or I just stay home. I don't always let fear keep me in the house, but if I believe we have feelings for a reason. I believe God gave us that ability, and if I think we should listen to our still small voice. And I'll be like, if there's too many, like if we were going to go on a trip and too many things happened, the car broke down, this person couldn't come help get us to the airport or whatever. If too many things start happening, I'm like, well, we're just going to scrap this trip because I'm staying home. But that's just me. You do you. Remember to be a little joy bomb in your corner of the world. If you take care of your little corner, and everybody starts taking care of their little corner, all those corners are going to start to meet, and things will be a lot better. It's just a good thing. Well, I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. It did end up being 30 minutes long, so hey. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye.